Hello everyone, welcome back. So today's race is going to be the 3R Laguardia Loop Reverse Flat Race. It's about 20 kilometers. It's a sort of, not a hilly course, but there's lots of small ups and downs, sort of like a rolling course. Not too much climbing overall, about 200 meters. So yeah, it should be good. This is my first race since I did my training plan. So I'm hoping that I can get quite a good result here. Hoping for a podium at least. My FTP after I did the training plan has gone up from 260 to about 290. So yeah, sitting on the top area of Group C now. So hopefully this should go much better than before. So hoping for a good race. So hopefully it'll be a fun one. I've got a new setup here. I bought a new fan, so should be able to keep me cooler than previously. Also, the weather today is shocking, so a good day for a Zwift race. Also, I bought a new bike on Zwift, not in real life. I got myself the uranium nuclear, so that should be quite good as well. We'll see if it makes any difference, probably not. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm gonna get a quick warm up and then we can begin. Right, so I did the world's worst warm up, I'm not gonna lie. I did about 10 minutes of just sort of barely spinning at all. Anyway, we know how these Zwift race starts go. Just a lot of power right at the beginning, put it all down. So this race has all the categories visible, which is quite nice, I think, because if you're feeling particularly good, you can try and push and stick with a category above yourself, which I'm probably not going to do because, well, yeah, I just don't really want to. Anyway, about 400 watts at the beginning, heart rate rising quickly, spinning very quickly, to be honest. So at the beginning of a Zwift race is always chaos. You're just waiting for the groups to split and form into their categories. So yeah, there's lots of C's and lots of D's riding together. I'm just going to try and drop the D guys. So it doesn't take long for the groups to start forming. This is actually quite an important moment. There's two guys up ahead, two C-class guys, and they have managed to attach themselves to the B group. And I make the decision here to put down a bit of power just to make sure I stick with them. You can see them just up ahead here in that little group there. So I'm having to put down about 400 watts just to stick with them, because if they go with the Bs, then there's no catching them later. And I've decided that I really want to win. I'm not just here to sit around and come like third or something. So yeah, here I go. Lots of power, 500 watts, just to try and catch this group, and they are absolutely going for it here. My heart rate is already 170, which is well above where I want it to be. Spinning really fast, over 100 cadences. So yeah, here we go. I've almost got them, and yeah, just getting onto the back of them here. And this course is quite rolling, so there's no real flat areas, either going uphill or going downhill, which means it's quite nice because you can sort of spike your power, like put lots of power down on the uphill and then rest on the downhill, which I think is quite nice. Anyway, I'm here with these guys. They ended up getting dropped by the Bs and the As anyway, so all that effort was really for nothing. But we do have a nice lead over the group behind us. We've got about 4 seconds on them, so I'm going to try and stick with this group for as long as I can. It's actually quite hard work at the moment. They're putting down a lot of power. I'm having to put down around I'm having to put down around 300 watts just to stick with them. But if you look at their watts per kilogram, you can see theirs is much higher than mine, which I think is a good thing, to be honest, because that means they're expending more energy than me. And from that, I can figure out that they're a lighter rider because their watts per kilogram is higher. So we're sitting here in our little group. Probably not going to be able to hold off all the rest of the C's for very long. We're not even working together, we're just sort of riding really. No one's really taking the lead. Yeah, it's definitely slowed down a bit now, being able to take it a bit easier, being able to rest on downhills, maybe like 200 watts around that. It's not too hard at the moment. Beginning of the race, no one's really going for it anymore. So yeah, the group behind us is definitely going to catch us. They're about 5 seconds behind. It's mainly C's, a few D's, which is quite nice. And yeah, this course is not nice. I don't really like it. There's so many hills and you have to stand up and really put some power down on them, especially with lighter guys, because they can just shoot up those hills. So I'm really having to work hard on the hills to keep up. So let's speed this up, otherwise we'll be here all day. So yeah, just sticking with the group here. Not too bad at the moment. The group behind us, we're actually dropping them. It's gone up to 7 seconds, but that's not gonna last very long. Still pretty comfortable at the moment. My heart rate is around 160, which is where it should be for threshold effort. When I go up the hills, it spikes to just about 170, which is also okay. I just don't want it going over like 180 because that's when I'm really putting in the effort. The wattage is around 250, which is okay. It's not too hard, not too bad for me. So the group behind us finally caught up, and now it makes it a bit easier. We can just sort of sit in, be a bit lazy and sit in the draft, which is always nice. So we're just coming to the end of lap 2 out of 6. So at this point, I think everyone knows it's going to be the same sort of Zwift race, isn't it? Stick with the pack until the end, where it'll come down to a sprint finish, unless someone's feeling very frisky and wants to go off on their own. So yeah, at this point, I'm a bit worried because I set my trainer difficulty really, really low. And I want to be able to sprint really hard at the end. So that means I'm probably going to spin out. So at some point, I'm going to have to stop and raise my trainer difficulty so I can get a bit higher gear ratio for the end. So during this race, I'm always thinking, where can I do that? Because I want to do it on a downhill so I don't lose too much time. So really, I should have done it as early as possible when everyone's taking it easy. But what I decide to do is wait until the very end, the very last lap, because I'm a bit stupid. Yeah, so I have to change that. It's not going to be good. So we've only got 2 more laps to go. This is a very short race, actually. It'll be done in under half an hour, which is quite nice. It's a good solid workout. I'm working quite hard at the moment, but my heart rate has gone down to around 150 because the group is taking it so easy. So getting a solid rest in, which is nice. Almost got dropped here, so I had to put down some power to catch up. Anyway, now we've got 2 laps to go. There's no items in this race, which is nice. Nothing to worry about, no luck, no one getting an aero helmet and you missing out. So yeah, almost there. At this point, I'm feeling fine, really. My heart rate is good. I don't feel too fatigued, really. I'm actually doing okay, to be honest. I think at this point, if I can change my trainer difficulty, I should have this in the bag. I've been looking at the watts per kilo numbers at the side, and I think I'm probably the heaviest rider, which means I should have an advantage for the sprint finish at the end. So we're just coming into the final lap now, and this is where I decide to try and change my trainer difficulty. So I have to stop on the downhill, get off, go into the menu. And this is infuriating. It takes so long. This is the most stressful scrolling I've ever done. It just wouldn't go down. Then yeah, change it, and I'm hoping they haven't dropped me too hard. And at this point they haven't, but then they just zoom off and I can't. And then I knock my fan over, actually. This is an absolute mare. So this is the worst stoppage ever. It's like a terrible Ferrari pit stop. Anyway, so now I have to absolutely go full gas to try and catch up. They have about 2 seconds on me, which is an absolute eternity when they're in a group and you're not. But fortunately, there is an uphill and it seems they will try to take it a bit easier up here because I really closed the gap on this hill. Admittedly, I'm putting out like 700 watts, but that really helped. I'm absolutely going for it here. My heart rate is like 183 at this point, which is way too high. But anyway, I get back with them. The group is really stretched out here. So hopefully this will close up before the end because no one wants a really spread out sprint like this. Yeah, so we've got 1.4k to go. I'm still having to put down a lot of power because of how spread out this group is. I just don't want to get dropped again. So I'm just trying to lower my heart rate now. We've got 1 kilometer to go. Everyone's just taking it really, really easy at this point. Actually, I think that might just be me. My watts per kilogram is about 2.5 at this point, but theirs is like 4 or 3, so they're definitely putting in more work than I am. Anyway, 700 meters to go. This is where the sprint's going to come in. I am actually feeling it now from my effort to catch up. Anyway, let's watch it in real speed for the final 500 or so meters. I keep pulling out my clip. Fucking hell. That was a very annoying race. Lots of mistakes. Super annoying because I think I probably would have won that. But just annoying errors. Firstly, I didn't set my training difficulty up right, so I wanted to change it for the end because the gear ratios were too low, so I couldn't really sprint properly. It was really easy gear to spin that would have just spun out, so I had to change that. And then that dropped me off on the last lap, so I had to catch up with them. But I managed to do that, and that was fine. But then when I went for the sprint, I was pulling up with this leg, and it just came out. came out of my clip, so don't know what that's about. I'll probably just have to like tighten it or something and give it a check. But yeah, I think I had that in the bag, to be honest, but it's just very annoying, silly mistakes caused by myself. No excuses. I thought it was okay. I managed to keep an average of 260 odd watts throughout. I don't feel too bad at the end. I reckon I could have done a few more laps, but yeah, you win some, you lose some. All right, I'll be back on it at some point pretty soon, hopefully. So I ended up coming 4th on Zwiftpower, which it's just annoying, isn't it? I could not get my sprint away at all because of my clip issues. In the end, I ended up sprinting with a power of 539 watts, which is about half of what I know I can do. And these guys who beat me, they were doing about the same. I managed to stick with them even though I had to stop my sprint halfway and put my clip back in, and my chain was almost about to fall off. It was a terrible, terrible day. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I had that in the bag if it wasn't for that terrible, annoying mistake. So yeah, overall, the power was quite good. 255 watts is my 20-minute time. The normalized power was 279 watts, which I was quite happy with for half an hour. Yeah, to be honest, I'm pretty happy with that. I thought I did quite well. It definitely shows that doing the training plan really helped. I felt quite comfortable in this race. Normally in the C-class races, I was absolutely dying by the end, but in this one, I felt somewhat comfortable. So these are a few of my previous races on Zwift. My average wattage was actually higher than it's ever been over the course of a normal length race. Just ignore the ones where it's like 280 because those races were like 4 kilometers, so they don't really count. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. The power was good. My heart rate was fine, really, averaging 166, and my maximum was 185, and that wasn't even at the sprint at the end. That was on the bit where I had to put loads of power in to catch up with them after I changed my training difficulty. So yeah, overall, very happy with this. The progress is pretty good. I'm comfortable in C now, whereas before I was pretty much really working hard just to stick with the front group. But now I'm sitting with them quite happily. 20-minute watts per kilogram is still about 2.6, but that's just because I don't really need to do any more work than that. If it was probably an uphill race the whole way, I would have to really work harder to stick with the lighter guys, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to find some more hilly races and try to stick with the group on those ones because it will be more of a challenge rather than just doing flat races all the time. I'm going to be doing 1 hour power test to see if my new FTP is accurate, so I'll be doing that outside because I've got a new power meter for my bike, so I want to get the most use out of that possible, and doing it inside is just a bit miserable really. And I found a brand new hill in the city, in the mountain actually, out there, and it's huge, and I've seen people post about it on Strava and it looks absolutely beautiful, so I'm gonna be heading out there at some point as well. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Any tips, any advice would be greatly appreciated. If anyone knows how to stop your clip coming out when you're going for maximum power, then that would be some great advice. So yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.